Looks like tram doors are coming down, friends. So just watch your arms and legs for my friends that are there on the left-hand side. Well, welcome. We are about to go explore one of the world's largest and oldest movie studios, Universal Studios. And we are filming some things actively here in the lot today. We are filming Ted Season 2 is filming in the lot. It's a prequel to the Ted movies. And exploring our lot here today would not be possible without your driver. Her name is Evelyn. Everybody say hi, Evelyn. And we're going to be taking care of you as we go explore a movie studio. We'll be on the lot for about 45 minutes to an hour. So just sit back, relax, enjoy the tour. A couple of safety rules though before we get too far. First and foremost, if you're having a medical emergency, if you cannot wait to use the restroom, if you're having any sound or video issues, or if you drop something of value off the side of the tram, reach up and grab that red E-cord. It runs along the center of the tram. That will get my attention. Remain seated and I'll be by to help you when it's safe to do so. Otherwise, on the duration of the tour, please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, legs, feet, everything inside the vehicle at all times. The studio is private property, so once again, you drop yourself when you just cannot wait to use the restroom. Reach up, grab that red E-cord, and remain seated. No smoking of any kind on the duration of the tour. And be prepared. Our tour here today features sudden tram movements, fire effects, loud noises, and a lot of water effects. You're going to want to have your phones and cameras out to get some really great photos. But please keep an eye on them so you don't drop them, and please keep them safe so they do not get wet. Finally, for your safety and those around you, no use of selfie sticks while on board. All right, here we go. We are heading down what's called our Universal Timeline. It's going to pipeline us right into the heart of our studio. It is the 60th year that we have been giving the studio tour. So to help kick things off for that celebration, here is our master of ceremonies. He's also the host of the Tonight Show. It's Jimmy Fallon.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Fallon. Welcome aboard the world-famous studio tour. I know you think, why the cup? Well, we're celebrating our 60th anniversary. A great 60 years of glitz, glamour, and our own great white shark. As we celebrate our diamond anniversary today, we'll pay tribute to Universal's past and take you behind the scenes to discover why this studio tour is world famous. So whether this is your first visit or your 60th, get ready for fun, excitement, and an experience like no one else.
Well, thanks, Jimmy. And along our Universal Timeline, you may have noticed some movie posters. These represent just a few of the thousands of movies that we have made, so keep an eye out for your favorite, because we have been making movies here for over 100 years. It all started out with this gentleman right here. His name is Carl Lemley. He opened up the gates to our studio on March 15th, 1915, over 100 years ago. And he wanted to share the magic of movie making with the public. So for 25 cents, you could come in here and you could explore, watch silent movies being made, get yourself a box lunch. But with the invention of sound, they did have to end these original walking tours. In the 1960s, this idea of reviving the studio tour returned. It started with the Grey Line bus tours to the stop at our gates. And then our official first day was on July 15, 1964. That was when the first of our red and white candy-striped glamour trams. They took 67 passengers on a 2-hour driving tour of our lot. And the world-famous studio tour was born. We have expanded a lot in the past 60 years, but one thing remains the same, is that we are bringing you one-of-a-kind Hollywood elements and showing you a little bit of behind the scenes and sharing the magic of movie making. So welcome. We're heading into our front lot, friends, that houses a majority of our 36 sound stages. Sound stages are where filmmakers are able to have a completely controlled environment of light and sound. We have 36 sound stages over here on our lot. That's to accommodate this expanding market of filmmaking, especially with streaming services that are available now. And inside these sound stages, you can build any kind of setting that the script demands. So check out here on the left-hand side, if any of these soundstage doors are open, they're called elephant doors. Take a peek inside, see what they got going on. Ted Season 2 has been filming over here in these sound stages, and you might see wild walls inside of those sound stages. Wild walls are movable cell walls to be very flexible and all kinds of different things inside of these sound stages. And you might see some people who are working on these sets. These are production crew. You have the construction workers, people working on the lights, people that are painting the sets. All of these people are essential to the movie making process. It's not just the people that are in front of the camera, but there are hundreds of people that work behind the scenes to bring entertainment to life. These sound stages have also been home to productions like Superstore, starring America Ferrera. They filmed the entire Cloud9 Superstore inside of these sound stages. They also filmed Bel Air. Bel Air is a dramatization of the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Season 3 of that, it just dropped in August on Peacock, that's our streaming service. And also HBO Hacks filmed inside of those sound stages. Some of their base campus over here in these trailers, over here on the left-hand side. HBO Hacks is right now filming Season 4, and Jean Smart, the lead in Hacks, she has won 3 Emmys for working on that television show. She won it for Best Female in a Comedy Series, Best Female Lead in a Comedy Series. So very talented, very funny show that is now returning here for Season 4. Right here on the right-hand side, there is some haunted houses that are for Halloween Horror Nights. It's a separately ticketed event that we have after the theme park closes. It's on certain nights, and it is happening this evening after the park closes. So this is for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So for anybody who's coming back for that later on this evening, or maybe later on this season, a little sneak peek. And the sound stages that are over here on the right-hand side, these sound stages have a lot of television history over here with our lot. There have been classic TV shows like The Jeffersons, Who's the Boss, One Day at a Time, Sabrina the Teenage Witch that have filmed inside of these sound stages here on the right-hand side. There's been more recent productions, like The Good Place. They did their interior scenes inside of Soundstage 19. And also, Never Have I Ever. It's a Netflix show with Story is filming Season 2 currently. Season 1 is on Peacock. That's a comedy series that started Kaylee and Cuoco. So, some television history here that's happening inside these sound stages. Soundstage 19, they also filmed a pretty big movie that came out last summer called Oppenheimer. They filmed the Oval Office scenes inside of Soundstage 19. And that is our 11th Academy Award-winning film for Best Picture. And it's really cool that some of that history was made right inside of the soundstage. But before we have our casting crew that's assembled inside of the sound stage that I just showed you, there is an entire process, a whole phase of filmmaking that is called pre-production. Pre-production is where they talk about the scripting, the casting, and the budgeting, and that happens inside of these production bungalows here on the left-hand side. Now, these production bungalows, they actually used to be they used to be dressing rooms for what we called contract players over here at Universal Studios. Contract players is where you signed a contract with Universal, you could only work with Universal. Things are a little different now. Now people are free to work with whatever studio they want. And these production bungalows, we had pretty big names: Mark Platt, Michael Schur, their office are inside of there, along with Amy Pascal. And here's a pretty historic office here on the left. It was once Alfred Hitchcock's office. Alfred Hitchcock is known as the master of suspense. That office is now home to the De Laurentiis Company. That brought us movies like Dune, the original Dune movie, and also the Hannibal Lecter series, and the Hannibal Lecter movie. So it's really big to have inside of Alfred Hitchcock's old office. These sound stages here on the left, they look a little bit different. It's because they were built a little more recently in 2016. So the writers' rooms, dressing rooms, wardrobe trailers, wardrobe is over here in the front with the sound stages directly behind them. Soundstage 25 is where they have been filming Lopez vs. Lopez, which is currently on Season 3. And then Soundstage 26 is where they have been filming St. Denis Medical. St. Denis Medical is a new comedy series starring David Alan Grier and Wendy McLennan-Covey. And the two of them are here's a little sneak peek at what they've been working on for you.
Hi, I'm David Alan Grier.
And I'm Wendy McLennan-Covey.
And I'm Allison Tolman.
We're on the set of our new hit sitcom, St. Denis Medical.
You know, they say laughter is the best medicine.
You know, I'd say penicillin's a close second.
Naproxen sodium isn't too bad either.
Just a little clip of what's to come here, coming out in November, that TV show. Our Metropolitan sets are over here on the left-hand side. They are currently filming Ted Season 2 in there right now, and our Metropolitan sets have been home to a lot of big Marvel movies, Marvel's Agent S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's Agent Carter, and Captain America. Also movies like Transformers have filmed inside of our Metropolitan sets. So where we're heading to next, it's a bit more exotic part of our studio tour. To tell you a little bit about what you're in for, here is Academy Award-winning director Peter Jackson.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from life. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board a ship, you're sailing to a lost island.
All right, here we go. Adventure awaits us here inside Skull Island. Get ready. 40 feet tall and 180 feet wide. And the animators who brought us this attraction, they're the team over at WetaFX. WetaFX, they are one of the largest animation special effects companies in the world. They've worked on movies such as Lord of the Rings trilogy, Hobbit trilogy, also Avatar, Avatar: The Way of Water. They have won 7 Academy Awards for.
In all directions, there's creatures coming at them. You're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side.
Working on a movie, we're always going to people are looking straight ahead of the shot that they're working on. People are looking at it. Also, when they go to like drawing the movies that we're working on, there's no cuts. Because one giant shot, this tram is driving along through Skull Island is where the film is from. The screen represents where the screen is 10 meters away. We're really creating about 50 minutes of a feature film. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, and presenting them to the audience, it's a hell of a ride.
There's Peter Jackson giving a final look over to his attraction of King Kong. And in that 5th tram car that got pulled into the King Kong experience, that was the animators over at WetaFX and also Peter Jackson's kids. But don't worry, they're okay. King Kong saved them. And King Kong, Peter Jackson mentioned that he was inspired to direct by the original King Kong film that came out in 1933, produced by RKO. And they used an 18-inch puppet in King Kong, also something called stop-motion photography and some specific camera tricks to bring to life the monster of King Kong. It really blew audiences away. They had never experienced anything like that. Similar to how our monster movies in the 1930s really blew our audiences away. Here, check out on the right-hand side. This is our monster mural, celebrating our monsters that really put us on the map, made us the home of the monster movie classic. And our monster movies are very special to us because they film primarily over here on our lot. Something else that filmed over here on our lot that is currently airing their 26th season is The Voice. The Voice films inside of these sound stages here on the left-hand side. It's sound stages 30 and 31. And there are some pretty fun coaches that are joining this year. Michael Bublé and Snoop Dogg are joining Reba McEntire and Gwen Stefani. And here's Snoop Dogg to tell you a little bit about what's going on this season.
Hey, Studio Tour. It's your boy Snoop Dogg. Did you know that the Universal Backlot is home of The Voice? That's right. We take right here on Stage 31. Don't miss our incredible new season every Monday and Tuesday on NBC. On your chest.
And in front of where they filmed The Voice, there is a body of water that we call the Hollywood Ocean. And you can kind of see it peeking through the shrubbery that's over here on the left-hand side. And the Hollywood Ocean is where they filmed classic TV shows like Police Navy, some scenes from The Good Place, more modern things, but The Good Place I filmed on our Hollywood Ocean. And my personal favorite monster movie was filmed on the Hollywood Ocean, and that is The Creature from the Black Lagoon. The Creature from the Black Lagoon, it came out in 1954, making it 70 years old this year. And The Creature from the Black Lagoon, it was originally released in 3D. There was a pretty specific reason for this. It's because there was really big competition in the 1950s for film, and that was television. So audiences now had TVs, and they didn't want to leave the living room, their living rooms. So 3D was one way that they were trying to gain back the attention of audience members. And that's why the Creature from the Black Lagoon was a part of that. And speaking of our monster movies, we are here in the birthplace of our monster movies. These are our little Europe sets. Our little Europe sets here, they have transported our audiences all over the world. And you can do that by changing some details that are on the signs that you're seeing around here. There's still some Italian that's over here on the left-hand side. And you would change the language on the signs and also change the flags if you are in a brand new country. These have taken our audiences over to France, like in Frankenstein, starring Boris Karloff, Transylvania, starring Bela Lugosi, or excuse me, in Dracula, starring Bela Lugosi. And these sets have also transported audiences to the afterlife. Here, check it out.
You, Eleanor Shellstrom, are dead.
Cool.
This location
The afterlife? Come on.
I've never ever seen this. We're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
Okay, well, maybe it's not all that bad.
Hi there. How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
Yeah, so 4 seasons of The Good Place are streaming currently on Netflix, starring Kristen Bell and Ted Danson. Ted Danson and Michael Schur, who created The Good Place, they are working together again to bring another comedy series that's coming out next month to Netflix. It's going to be called A Man on the Inside. And when we just now saw our sets, our Little Europe sets, it's understandable why they would pick a location like our Little Europe to be the afterlife. It's because it feels like we're right in the middle of a fairy tale. Well, because of our Little Europe fairy tale-like feel, the fairy tale-like feel of those sets, it has been home to movies like Cinderella, the Disney Cinderella, Roger and Hammerstein's Cinderella, starring Brandy and Whoopi Goldberg. It was an ABC TV movie that was filmed. They used our Little Europe sets for a lot of those dance sequences. Bernadette Peters was out over here, and Jason Alexander was singing Princess Giving a Ball. So, really understandable how that would be because they were right in the middle of a fairy tale. And also, our Little Europe sets for the fictional country of Genovia in Disney's Princess Diary 2. And a royal engagement. And Anne Hathaway just recently announced that there is going to be a Princess Diaries 3. Don't know if they're going to be using our Little Europe sets again. That has not been confirmed. But at least I know there is a Princess Diaries 3 coming out. But Princess Diaries 2, they did film over here in our Little Europe sets. And in the very beginning, if you were to go back and watch that movie, in the very beginning, there's a really gorgeous opening shot where it has all of our Little Europe sets in its entirety. And then they have some details, like some CGI, computer-generated imagery, where they're making it look like our Little Europe sets are tucked into a cute little countryside instead of in the middle of San Fernando Valley, like these sets actually are. And there also is another scene in Princess Diaries 2 where Princess Mia is giving a parade, and she's going through the streets of Genovia, and then she sees some orphans and has them join her parade and lifts their spirits. So that all happened over here in our Little Europe sets. And our Princess Diaries 2 is starring Chris Pine, Anne Hathaway, and Julie Andrews. And the writer of Princess Diaries 2 is Shonda Rhimes. She was one of the writers who was on Princess Diaries 2. Shonda Rhimes now is a very successful producer. She has a very successful production company that is called Shondaland. Shondaland just recently released season 3 of her show Bridgerton. And the narrator, who is the voice of Lady Whistledown, is Julie Andrews. So it's really fun that's how they met. They met through Princess Diaries 2. That's where Shonda Rhimes first worked with Julie Andrews. It's really fun that some of that relationship started right over here on these sets. The other star of Princess Diaries 2, Chris Pine, he has a lot of movie history in his family. So his grandmother was an actress by the name of Anne Gwynn. And Anne Gwynn was a contract player over here, just going back to our contract players that I was talking about when we were at the bungalows. So Anne Gwynn was a contract player here with Universal, so she was only able to film Universal films while she was under contract. This doesn't exist anymore. Now, actors are free to pick any production that they want. They don't have to be with one company, and they also can say yes or no to projects. They have a lot more artistic freedom than they did in the early days of Hollywood. So Anne Gwynn, while she was under contract, she did film a movie that was called House of Frankenstein. She actually worked with Lon Chaney Jr., who is very famous for playing the Wolfman, and that filmed over here on our lot. So it's really fun that although it's a difference of a few generations, there have been a lot of family history that has gone on here also in our Little Europe sets. Going back to the House of Frankenstein, that just brings us back to our monster movies and how monumental they were for us in the 1930s, really put us on the map as the home of the monster movie classic. And our filmmakers also have their favorite monster movies here. They're going to tell you about it.
When we think of Universal, we think of monsters.
Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, Bride of Frankenstein,
The Mummy,
The Hunchback of Notre Dame,
The Invisible Man, Phantom of the Opera.
classic films are just brilliantly made.
That Frankenstein image, flathead, bald, it's one of the great icons of the world.
That to me was like the essence of the Universal horror film.
That was just that.
So somebody did just pull our red emergency E-cord. If this is a medical emergency, please pull one more time. Okay, one moment. I'm gonna be by to check it out.
That's right. Boris Karloff, Lon Chaney.
I remember the original Universal Studios Mummy movie really scaring me.
They still ring in our memories now. We love them.
Okay, cool. We just got granted access to come check out one of our sound stages. We are now entering what's called Soundstage 50. Now, they are filming in here today, but we just got the go-ahead to come check it out. And Soundstage 50 is one of our only dual-level sound stages that's over here on the property. And they're utilizing both levels of the soundstage in this production. They made this ground level look like a San Francisco subway station, but right above our heads, there is a fully dressed San Francisco street. It looks like the cast and crew just stepped away from the everything should be fine. They had it closed for almost a year and updated a lot of the equipment you saw in there and also the subway station just to make everything look a little bit more modern day. We just opened up this past May, so you did it. You survived our new and improved earthquake. Woo! Yeah. And that takes us to the halfway mark of our studio tour here, friends. Just another reminder to please remain seated on the duration of our studio tour. If you ever need any assistance, please reach up, grab that red heat card, and remain seated. So friends, I'm just going to rip off the Band-Aid right now, be the bearer of bad news, that our Jaws attraction is undergoing a little routine maintenance. It's not broken, but you're going to see why in a minute that we cannot see Jaws, because Jaws is just, he's landlocked. He's He's a land shark right now. But this is a routine maintenance that our Jaws attraction has to go through because this attraction is almost 50 years old. It originally came out in 1976. And with Jaws Lake Drain, you can really see how a lot of these old practical effects, how they work. And because of Jaws' age, we do have to do a routine maintenance, so that's what's happening right now. It's not broken. It will be back hopefully in the next couple weeks. And this attraction of Jaws, it was quickly built following the success of the Jaws film that came out in 1975. Jaws was originally filmed off the coast of Martha's Vineyard on the East Coast, and so they recreated the city of Amity over here on our lot for this Jaws attraction. But these were actually used in a pretty popular television show called Murder, She Wrote. It ran for 12 seasons, starring the late great Angela Lansbury. And they made this the town of Cabot Cove. Oh, such cheery, lovely music for a show that was all about murder. And something that has been with our studio tour since 1968. It is actually the very first attraction that we had here on our studio tour. We're about to go experience here in a moment. To tell you a little bit more about it, here is the co-host of the Today Show and weather anchor. Here's Al Roker.
Our first major attraction here on the studio tour. The only part of the backlot with a 100% chance of rain. The flash flood.
We have a little weather demonstration prepared here for you, just to really showcase how we can use combinations of practical effects. Things like rain can make romantic movies like the really Jurassic Park feel more scary and it really says, whoa, what is that? And this part of our lot is a place that we call Old Mexico. Here on the left-hand side, Old Mexico, you've seen our Old Mexico sets in home to productions like Nacho Libre, starring Jack Black, Three Amigos, starring Chevy Chase, Martin Short and Steve Martin filmed in our Old Mexico sets, and our Old Mexico sets are right next to our Western sets. This is what we call 6 Points. And 6 Points has been home to those classic Westerns like Destry Rides Again, Winchester 73, Wagon Train, a pretty popular television series filmed over here in our Western sets, and more modern day classics, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Margot Robbie, and Brad Pitt. They actually used these in quite a few key scenes in that film by Quentin Tarantino. In that film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Leonardo DiCaprio plays an actor named Rick Dalton, and Rick Dalton is working on a TV show that is called Lancer, a Western show. So this was where they chose to be the set for Lancer, where he was working on that. They were actually here for quite a few weeks. Brad Pitt was riding around in a yellow convertible. They also had people that were in Western attire, that were actors in the television show, and then also people that were the film crew in 1960s attire. So a lot of interesting, a lot of really fun movie-making elements. This also was seen in Saving Mr. Banks, the scene specifically with Colin Farrell, where they're doing the flashback scenes, and they made this in 1906 Australia. And if we were filmmakers and we wanted to make this all set for a Western movie, we would need some elements, right? We would have to have production come in and help us really shape this into an old West town. Things like signs. We would have to have actors that were dressed in Western style clothing with the help of our costume department. We would also need horses and carriages, things that are really going to fill this out, and especially the dirt. The asphalt that's on the ground would really not work for a Western. That is going to be up to production to provide that dirt and also haul it away whenever they're all done. This other side of our Western sets is a street that we call Denver Street. Denver Street has some of the oldest sets over here on our property, and I mentioned before about the original walking tours that were hosted by Carl Lemley, our founder. And this is actually where they were. They were right over here. So we're literally driving through history where over 100 years ago, there were bleachers set up right over here and people were watching silent movies being made. Specifically a lot of Westerns. The very first year that our movie studio was open, they produced 200 Westerns, and they were able to do that because they could film multiple films simultaneously, had audience members cheering for the good guys, booing for the bad guys, and didn't have to worry about sound because it was a silent film era. So each part of our studio lot can represent all parts of different parts of the world, also different time periods, like the Old West. And that is to accommodate all kinds of different aspects of filmmaking. What if your characters, though, have to be in their house, have to be in their neighborhood? Well, this is where you would film that. These are our residential sets that we have over here. On the left-hand side, this is our Elm Street. It is not that Elm Street, it's just called Elm Street because it can represent any suburban street anywhere in America. That yellow house was Boo Radley's house. It's Kill a Mockingbird. Here on the right-hand side, this is what we call the Chicken Ranch. This looks like a dollhouse, and it was built that way. It was literally built to look like a dollhouse for the film Best Little Courthouse in Texas, starring Dolly Parton and Burt Reynolds. And it actually used to open up like a dollhouse to do really fun dance numbers inside of them. That also was the Firefly House and House of a Thousand Corpses, directed by Rob Zombie, going into a completely different genre of film. And we are going down one of the most popular streets in Hollywood. This over here is our Colonial Street. There's a lot of popular filmmaking locations here. I'm going to point out a couple of famous houses. This house that's over here on the left, this was the Munsters house for the popular TV show. And this over here on the left-hand side, this was Davy's house. For those of you that watch the show Never Have I Ever, the Netflix show that is by Mindy Kaling. That right there is where they had Davy's house was, right over there. And one of the most popular productions that was over here, just because it ran for 8 seasons, it's very internationally successful, and that is Desperate Housewives. So Desperate Housewives filmed over here. They made this Wisteria Lane. Here, check it out.
If there is one thing everyone in suburbia can appreciate, it's a good neighborhood.
You can really see how the art department is going to be adding in details like the wisteria that they have sewn into a lot of the vines over here. Wisteria does grow over here in Southern California. It just doesn't bloom year-round. So that's what they did when they were filming here. And there are Ted. This is Ted's house, or excuse me, John's house, where Ted lives, here on the left-hand side. And all that distressed paint, that is actually specifically done by production. John, he lives in a suburban of Boston with a middle-class family. So to kind of really bring home those types of details, they added the distress of the paint. And that just really kind of brings home the point of why filmmakers would film over here on our Colonial Street, as opposed to just filming in a real house that's over then shutting down a house and filming there. Well, it's because over here you can do things like distress the paint on the sides of the buildings. And for Desperate Housewives, they had several crazy things happen. They had a fire, they had a tornado that went through there, and they had a lot of distress that was done over to the houses, so they had the flexibility to be able to do that. This road that we are on right now, this is called Steven Spielberg Drive. It's one of the longest roads that's over here on our lot because we've had a very long relationship with Steven Spielberg. And he's going to tell you about that here.
My entire career began with my relationship with Universal Studios just as a high school kid on a tour bus. Remember, in those days, there weren't trams, there were buses called the Gray Line Tour Bus. And I was so excited and thrilled to be on the lot. This was my first time ever on a movie studio lot. And during a bathroom break, I hid in the bathroom, and when everybody left to get back on the bus, I waited another 15 minutes until I'm sure the bus left, and then I had the entire lot to myself that day. And in those days, movie lots were so crowded because all movies were made on film lots. Today they're made all over the world, on locations, but most of it was focused in those days, in the 60s, on the film lots. So nobody noticed me when I was going around from soundstage to soundstage, and I really felt, in my own young way, I owned the lot and had the most amazing day of my life.
And here on the left are some picture cars. Picture cars are just any vehicle that you see in a movie, a TV show. There are some pretty big ones from our Fast and Furious films and also from Transformers in their vehicle form. Here's a pretty famous picture car. Oh, spoiler for those of you who haven't seen the film. This is Norman Bates trying to sink a white Ford to the bottom of the lake for very sinister reasons. And speaking of, here we are at the Bates Hotel. 12 rooms, 12 vacancies, just for you. And we are about to get a close-up look at our Psycho house. This is the original Psycho house that was built for the 1960 film, directed by Alfred Hitchcock, known as the master of suspense. And Psycho, when it was released in 1960, Alfred Hitchcock was very specific with how he wanted you to experience this film. So nobody was allowed to show up late to this movie. If you showed up late, you were turned away. And, oh, okay. Sorry, friends. I didn't realize that Norman Bates is actually home right now. So everybody just smile, wave, don't make too much eye contact. If he offers you room number 1, just say no. That was a near disaster. Speaking of disasters, this is our War of the World set. This is from the 2005 Paramount film War of the World, directed by Steven Spielberg. And the production designer for this is Ricky Martin. Some of them are going to tell you a little bit more about this extraordinary scene.
All designed around the business to put together to sit down and talk about war and building. I thought, what if the same thing, right? But it's just something that's you know why?
Close to you. Bobby, get it.
All hospitals are overflowing and supplies are limited.
And that is an actual 747 airplane that they purchased for $60,000. Doesn't sound like too much for a whole airplane. To ship it out over here was a little bit more expensive. Cost about $200,000. They always get you with the shipping and handling, don't they? That brings us to the 10-minute mark of our studio tour. We're almost back over to the theme park. Be there in about 10 minutes, friends. Just remain seated and pull on that E-cord if you ever need any guest assistance. And we are right now, right in the middle of the actual sets from Jordan Peele's latest sci-fi thriller called Nope. Welcome to Jupiter's Claim.
Movie magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take an impossible notion and bring it to life. This is Jupiter's Claim, a nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky Jupe Park. Over there, look into the Winking Well. Have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Share. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No. What? A little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso exhibit. welcome to the world of no.
The tram just lost power there for a second, but don't worry, we're back. Everything's fine. It's just time for us to get out. So these sets were brought over here from where they filmed in Agua Dulce. That's where they filmed the Jupiter's Claim sets. And they deconstructed the sets and brought them over here piece by piece because they really wanted to put you right in the middle of that film. And that is what we are going to be doing here for the grand finale of our studio tour. We're going to be putting you right in the middle of one of our Fast and the Furious films. Right now, on this tram, there is an undercover witness. And a lone star, international criminal. He's after us. But don't worry. Dominic Toretto and his crew are going to help keep us safe here in Sullivan's Garage.
My name is Roman Pierce. Pleased to meet you. My buddy Hobbs asked us to stash you sharp for a while. He brought you in our secret spot.
Alright, look guys, we're gonna keep Shaw from finding you, but to keep you safe, we need your help. We don't want the syndicate tracking us here, so put away your cameras and turn off your cell phones. One flash or one ringtone can give us away.
I need y'all to take this real serious.
Okay, pull into the next bay. We'll meet you in there.
Alright, here we go. Into the next bay. What we got going on here? Oh, it's a party. It's the race day after party.
This is what we doing. This is the race day after party. And the what else? Roman Pierce, FBI, don't move. Bam, that's right, party's over. You know how long I took to iron this shirt, man? I'm not. You're under arrest right now. Ladies, just back up a little bit. Got it. It's lightweight. First of all, I don't work for you. Oh, really? Well, tell me, Roman, who do you work for? We don't work for nobody. Cop, just to clear out here, otherwise we can't guarantee your safety. Guarantee my safety? I'm the one holding the gun. You have a mind a whole lot bigger than yours. Escort this now this out. Let's go, Cookie Puss! Got an ugly suit on, man. It's cheap.
Somebody out there really pissed off Shaw. It's gonna get ugly fast.
decades, the studio tour is taking guests on an amazing behind-the-scenes look at a movie studio in a way that only Universal can. I hope that you had a great time today, and on behalf of everyone at NBC Universal, thank you for joining us to celebrate our diamond anniversary. Here's to another 60 years.
Oh, thank you, Jimmy. And thank you for celebrating 60 years of the studio tour here with us. Our studio tour anniversary is special because this is where it all started for all of Universal destinations and experiences. We have 7 theme parks that are open up around the world. We have another one opening up next year in Orlando in 2025 that is going to be called the Universal Epic Universe, and it all started here with the Universal Studios Tour. For over 100 years, Universal Studios has been thrilling audiences around the world, bringing movies to life, whether it's in your living room or maybe on the big screen. And everyone here is a part of that story too. So thank you for being a part of this behind-the-scenes look that has been 60 years in the making. I'd also like to take this time to acknowledge all of the studio tour drivers, guides, and ambassadors throughout our history who have made the studio tour what it is today. If you want to go upgrade your ticket here today over to an annual pass, head over to the Universal box office. It's located on the upper lot across the way from Starbucks, and you can upgrade your tickets, come back and visit us again and again. We do have a pretty nifty app that is called the Universal Studios Hollywood app. It's a great way to stay on top of show times, wait times, and our park hours. We close tonight at 6 p.m. If you're interested in purchasing any of the movies or TV shows that I talked about here today, check out uphe.com or any of our retail stores to find out more. All right, friends, we are about to head over to unload. I just want to point out the really beautiful overlook that we have over here on the right-hand side. And you would really see the potential that Carl Laemmle saw over here over 100 years ago when he moved his company, Universal Picture Company, from the East Coast over here to the West Coast in 1915. There really wasn't any of this back in 1915, but he came over here seeking more room to make his films, more sunlight to light them, and more artistic freedom. And a lot of other production companies have followed suit. There is Warner Brothers that is down over there, ABC Studios, and also Disney Animation Studios are down there as well. And if you want to get your photo in front of this really beautiful overlook, if you haven't already gone to our lower lot, to get to our lower lot, you have to take 4 escalators that is called the Starway. It's about a 7-minute ride, the longest standing ride in the world. It's considered a ride. And after the first escalator, when you go down, there's a bridge that takes you to the next one. And there is a really beautiful overlook, so you can have a family picture if you want in front of this beautiful, in front of the San Fernando Valley, which actually is a really clear day. You can see everything. A very beautiful day as well, even though we're right in the middle of October. At least it is not super hot. So hopefully chilly weather is on the way. Let's see. As soon as it gets chilly, then we'll be hoping it's warm again. It's just, it can never be happy. At least for me. Well, friends, we are about to head over to unload here shortly. We're just waiting for our turn to get you back over to the theme park. And something also that really kind of makes a movie is the music that's going to be in it. So I'm going to play a little montage of a lot of famous Universal music. Or excuse me, famous music that's been in Universal films.
Bring the noise.
What are y'all on here?
Alright guys, let's get some blues riff and beat. Watch me for the changes and try and keep up, okay?
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. She don't rip it down the rain. She knows how to shoot that thing down. You make me wanna.
Oh my gosh, look at her.
The band was jumping and the joint began to swing. You should have heard the knock out there, but sing, let's rock. Everybody, let's rock. Everybody on the whole cell block. All the dance a new jailhouse. Thank you so much and good night.
All right, we're going to be heading back over here to unload here very shortly. Thank you all for your patience with that. And something else that always happens at the end of some comedy movies is the bloopers, right? So here.
Good, they're rolling through.
I love watching the lurches.
That guy, oh my god, there he is.
The other day I saw an African paw.